What's up guys, I'm randomfrankp. Today I'm going to be bringing you a review of the newly released Corsair Strafe RGB keyboard with MX Cherry silent switches inside. Gonna give this product a typical whole rundown of my experiences with it so far, how it performs, and talk about the lighting effects and the software, as well as going into detail about the MX Cherry silent switches, why you would want them, and kind of compare them to other MX Cherry switches right now in the Corsair product line. And you're going to want to stay tuned to the end of the video because I have two of these Strafe keyboards here. Going to be giving one away, don't need two of them. So yeah, stay tuned to the end of the video for that if you want to win one. Starting it off with this packaging, taking it out of the box, very reminiscent of unboxing the Corsair Strafe keyboard, the original one. It's packaged very nicely. I'm really liking the whole product design on the box as well. Inside, you are met right away with a detachable wrist rest. I'm very happy they included this again. It was included on their Corsair K70 RGB product line, so very nice for someone who wants the option to have a wrist rest. You have two sets of textured keycaps, which is great for people who want to have a different experience for the FPS keys as well as MOBA keys. So you have those two key sets. They have this nice little texture on the top, as well as a key puller. And then lastly, you have your keyboard ready for you to take it out and plug it in. Like I mentioned, it is very similar looking to the original Corsair Strafe keyboard that came out in the summer, but I'll give you guys a typical overview of its features. The keyboard is constructed entirely of a solid plastic, and it is covered in a matte black material. On the top left hand of the keyboard, you will find a little blank spot which, once plugged in, will illuminate their newly redesigned Corsair sales logo. It looks very nice. You can either turn it on, change the colors to what you want it to be. It can also be illuminated in the effects to, rainbow or pulse, or just turn it off if you don't want it. On the right hand side, you will find two buttons up top. You have your brightness key and your Windows lock key. Then right below that is the Corsair font in a nice metallic finish. Now taking a look at the top of the keyboard, you have one of my favorite features on a keyboard, and that is the addition of a USB pass-through. You can plug in whatever you want to here, whether it be a USB, a hard drive, or even a mouse, which is what I use mine for. I have my mouse plugged in the top, so I don't have to wire it and have just more cables and clutter on my desk. I love the addition of a USB on a keyboard. And then into the good stuff, once you take off the keycaps, you will find something that is probably one of the biggest additions to these RGB keyboards, and that is the addition of a nice white base underneath all the keys. What this does is it helps the RGB lights shine up through the keycaps and back down once they reflect off the inside of the keycaps onto this white base, making the colors appear a lot brighter and more saturated. And now into the key switch and the shell itself. Again, we have the LED light and the key switch housed in this acrylic case. This shell is going to do a lot of things, but the main thing it's going to do is help prevent any ESD or burnouts of your LED lights. But for now, let's talk about one of the most important parts about this keyboard, and that is the addition of these MX Cherry silent switches inside this particular keyboard. They also sell the Strafe RGB and MX Cherry Reds, MX Cherry Browns, and I believe Blues later on down the line. But let's focus on these silent switches because they're new to the market, they're something different than what we're used to, and I'm going to tell you why they would appeal to someone who wants a different key switch. First off, they live up to their name. They are MX Cherry silent switches, which means they're going to be pretty quiet. Not entirely silent, but actually 30% quieter than other MX Cherry key switches out there right now. They pretty much emulate the sound of Reds without having a O-ring inside. It's going to dampen the sound a lot, and it's going to be much, much quieter. Like I said, 30% quieter than your typical MX Cherry keyboard. This is going to be important to someone who works in a quiet working environment or doesn't want to annoy people around them with those really clicky switches like you would find with MX Cherry Blues. A lot of times people complain that Blues are way too loud and clicky, and I agree, and it just annoys people around you. In fact, in a lot of offices or work areas, they don't even allow keyboards with blue switches inside because they can be very distracting. These silent switches are very similar to Reds in the fact they only need 45 grams of actuation to register, so it's a pretty light key. And real quick, so I know everybody wants it, I'm going to do a sound test for you guys, comparing the sounds of the MX Cherry Reds key switch, MX Cherry Brown key switch, and these new MX Cherry silent key switches, so you can see how they sound. So that'll wrap it up for the physical features of the keyboard. Like I said, very similar to the Strafe that came out a few months ago, the original Strafe. 100% anti-ghosting, 104 key rollover. It's altogether a great keyboard, but the main difference here is, like I said, the silent switches and the RGB lights differing from the original red Strafe. So for now, I'm going to show you guys some of the lighting effects and talk about the software and all the stuff that you can do with this cool RGB keyboard. The Corsair Q software has gotten a lot easier to use over the past year, which is great because it's going to enable you to make effects a lot easier. You can still download pre-made ones from the online Corsair forums to boot up and use on your own keyboard. This is the spiral rainbow effect, spiraling those 16.8 million colors, and you can see the transition is just a lot more smooth this time around. This is the rainbow wave, in which you can change the direction and the speed of the wave. You can change those two things, the speed and the direction, for most of the effects on this list. You can also change some of the colors you want to whatever you want them to be for the preset function. This is the visor effect. You can have it change between either two different colors that you pick, or change the two different colors back and forth, have them being random, like a cool little rainbow going down. This is the rain effect, which will rain down random colors, or you can again pick two colors. This is red and blue, and it's just raining the gradient colors in between. Now we have color shift, which is going to shift between those solid colors, so you see like pink to teal to blue. Now you have color pulse, which is going to pulse colors in and out. Again, you can either pick two random colors or pick two colors that you want. And this is color wave, just having a wave of colors go up and down. Now some of my favorite ones are these, the type lighting. Whenever you press a key, it will slowly pulse those colors, leaving a trail of whatever you typed. It looks really nice, especially with the rainbow. It looks really cool. Or you can go and opt for the type lighting ripple, which just sends a ripple of lighting out from wherever the keys you press. I like the blue and white effect, but again, you can make it do rainbow colors rippling out. But very, very cool stuff. Just showing you some easy customization. Here I have the keyboard all white to go with my white and black setup, and it just looks very nice and vibrant, but you could still change each key because each key is individually backlit. And yes, you see that Corsair logo. You can change the logo color, so if you want it to be off, you can do so, or you can just change it from white to red to blue, whatever you want. The logo itself is also customizable. In here, like I said, since each key is individually backlit, you can have one key do a certain effect, or just change each color of each key to fit a certain preset for whatever game you're playing, or just to outline certain keys. But every key you can change to any color or any effect. Now to wrap up my experience with the keyboard so far, I absolutely love it. I think this is hands down my favorite keyboard on the market, and it's going to be my daily driver from here on out. They have just made so many improvements over the past year, from the Corsair Gaming K70 to the Strafe, now the Strafe RGB. It's just an overall a great keyboard. If I had to pick one con, this is really stretching, I would have loved to have seen a braided USB cord. This one is rubber, but it is very, very minor. It's hard to think of a con because there's just so many things to love about this. I love the addition of adding a USB pass-through on top. It's a great feature in a keyboard. I love the addition of having MX Cherry silent switches now on the MX Cherry product line. It's a great option for people to choose from, and it's really going to benefit me, and I think streamers alike who are going to be playing games a lot and don't want their audience to hear the sound of their clicking keyboard every time they're pressing a key. So big props for adding a silent key switch. I really, really like it. And perhaps one of the biggest improvements of this keyboard compared to other models in the past is the brightness of the LED lights. Now granted, this is definitely helped by adding that nice white base inside the keyboard for the LEDs, but the lights just shine much brighter than they used to. Comparing it to my K70 RGB, I'm going to say they shine around 30% brighter than the older model, which is great because when you have these RGB lights, you're going to want them to shine nice and bright and vibrant and have those nice saturated colors in your keyboard. So big props for that. They are a lot brighter and it is visibly noticeable to me. Alright guys, it's going to wrap it up now for my review of the Corsair Gaming Strafe RGB keyboard with these MX Cherry silent switches inside. Hope you enjoyed. Overall, it is a top quality keyboard, hands down my favorite that I've ever tried so far, and my new daily driver from here on out. Overall, great keyboard. I highly recommend it. If you're still here, you notice I mentioned in the beginning of the video, I have two of these keyboards, one of them being the silent switches that I'm going to keep, and the other one being the Strafe RGB with brown switches. I'm going to be giving that one away to you guys. The link will be down below. It's a little Gleam contest. You could sign up, numerous ways to enter, and 1 month from today, giveaway will be ending, so sign up for your chance to win a Corsair Gaming Strafe RGB keyboard with brown switches. Good luck. If you liked the video, guys, please give it a thumbs up to show your support. You can comment down below if you have any questions or comments. Hit me up on Twitter at randomfrankp. You guys can always follow me on Twitter. I'm very active on there, engaging with my fans, giving channel sneak peeks and stuff like that. And lastly, if you haven't already, please hit subscribe. I've done a ton of tech videos in the past. You're not going to want to miss out on some of the stuff I got coming up in the near future. Alright guys, hope you all enjoyed. I'm Random Frank P. Have a good day.